Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the recap and breakdown. Today we're taking a look at UFC 314. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes was just wrapped up literally half an hour ago on today, April the 13th, 2025. The card did start on the 12th. We're going to be taking a look at the entire card, starting with the prelims, ending with the main event, just giving a little bit of a breakdown on what happened. It was an absolutely stacked night of fights, and as you can see from the right side of the screen, I hit almost perfect. Absolutely unbelievable card, and it did start off with Nora Cornell versus Haley Cohen. Now, I did think Nora Cornell was going to be able to finish Haley Cohen. I did say by knockout. Now, Nora Cornell does have submission ability. It's just that she's not very well versed in a lot of submissions, other than, the classic guillotine or rear naked choke. Excuse me. With a little bit of hiccups. She doesn't really have a whole lot of submission arsenal. She did miss weight. She was a little bit overwhelming for Haley Cohen. It was a little bit unfortunate to see, since Haley couldn't really do a whole lot. Inside the first round, she did win the first round, did take down Nora and was able to control her, but you could see that the control was not going to last very long into the fight, and you could see that as long as Nora stays on her feet, there's zero chance that Haley's going to get her down. Haley attempted the same exact takedown and got her back taken for it, and Nora just took the opportunity and the advantage and choked her out early inside round two. A very good win for Nora Cornell, and she moves up to 9-2, only losing to the prospect Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I don't know what's going to happen to Haley, but I haven't seen a whole lot from her. There's not much I can say about her. I just, at 135, man, you got to be a little bit better. Next on the prelims, we had Marco Tulio Silva versus Trejan Gore. Now, I did pick Marco Tulio Silva to win by knockout early, under 2.5 rounds. I think Gore, just in general, after watching that Cody Brundage fight, I thought he was going to be able to fall a lot earlier. And then we watched this fight, and Trejan Gore is literally eating every single shot that Marco throws. He drops Marco himself, I'm pretty sure, or at least stumbles him twice. And looked good as an underdog, but dude, he was way too tough for his own good. He was opened up on the nose, opened up everywhere, was pissing blood. Marco Tulio was just throwing everything that he had at him. Absolutely unbelievable, striking. And Marco just put him down, looking like Tony Stark if he gained 25 pounds and got jacked. Just beat the shit out of Gore. It was an unbelievable mess on the floor after that fight was done. Gore was wrestling the ref afterwards, Mark Goddard, and it was sad to see. I think Gore's out of the UFC at this point, moving to 5-3, not having a lot of experience inside of his MMA career. Kind of got pushed into the UFC a little bit too quick, in my opinion. I think he should have stayed around the regional scene for a little bit longer, but it is what it is, and he loses again to Marco Tulio. Unfortunate. Next in the prelims, we had Sumu Darji taking on Mitch Raposo at flyweight. Now, the split decision is absolutely pathetic, in my opinion. Mitch Raposo did not win rounds 2 or 3. He won round 1. That I agree with. 29-28 Sumu Darji is how I scored it. Sumu Darji did get controlled a little bit inside that first round. Did get pieced up a little bit. Fell behind on the striking. But Sumu Darji came in that second and third round, landing nice striking. The leg kicks really did stop the movement of Mitch Raposo. Wasn't moving too well after that. Was moving a lot, very linearly. And didn't really have a whole lot going for him. Didn't really throw a whole lot. Sumu Darji was just landing on the outside, choosing to keep kicking distance and just keep Mitch off of him. Mitch did try to, in the third round, to push the pressure. Too little too late, in my opinion, and he loses a split decision. I'm not sure. MMA decisions real quick. I'm not sure who the hell scored that fight. There you go. Junichiro Kamijo. Yeah, how about we fire him or her and get that shit out of judging, because you don't deserve to be a judge after that. 29-28 Raposo is absolutely pathetic. Leave. Next on the prelims, we have Mikhail Olejniczak against Cedric Dumas. Now, yeah, it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Dumas just no match for Michael. Just Olajaychik is so overwhelming with the striking. He blitzes you, and if he hits you with anything, he's just going to try and force it until you drop. And Dumas was covering up and showing big reactions to small strikes. And I think Olajaychik just kind of made a decision inside of his head to just go for it. And he did get it. Like, it's just, it was there. It was wide open for him. Dumas just kind of faltered and fell to the ground. And that was it. Again, Cedric Dumas is kind of a can. His wrestling is good, but that's about it. His striking didn't look too half bad against Olajaychik early, but obviously you saw how that went. Gets knocked out early and gets put down. At 185, man, you got to be a more complete fighter than that. Olajaychik is complete. His ground game is a little bit susceptible. He does have some holes in his ground game. Is open for some submissions. His armbar defense is absolutely atrocious. But Dumas just isn't going to get there. He doesn't have the capability to get there. He doesn't have the mix-up capability when it comes to these high-level guys to get dudes to the floor and work the submission game. It just doesn't happen. He kind of holds dudes down, and that's not the type of caliber we're looking for in the UFC. You should probably get out of here. Next on the prelims, you had Julian Erosa versus Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins literally got hurt from the first jab. He was on Queer Street literally like that. Could barely walk. Was eating everything from Erosa. Erosa was landing really good strikes. Elkins did land maybe 2 or 3 good blows on Erosa. It's just not enough, man. And when you're 41 years of age, how much power do you really have at 145? Especially when you're cutting at 145 flat. You're not like Erosa who has to make 146 and is weighing a little bit above, you know, weighing like 170 when he fights. Darren Elkins walks around like 155. Like that's what he fights at. He fights at the same shit. So Juicy J did put it on him. I did pick Darren Elkins. I was a little bit upset about it. Realistically, I really should have took Julian Erosa by finish. Darren Elkins is old. His nickname is the Damage. He's been taking so much damage. Like, it's bad. So you had to pick Julian Erosa. If you guys did catch that, good job. My dumbass picked Darren Elkins, and if I would have switched that and picked Julian Erosa inside distance, I would have won 6K this week just off that parlay. I did win 1,100, but it's a little bit hurtful that could have been up almost fucking half of 10 bands. Next on the prelims, you have Chase Hooper versus Jim Miller. Jim won the first round, in my opinion. It just seemed like he did a lot more than Chase did. Had the better positions, especially on top. And then you had Chase just kind of take it over instead of rounds 2 and 3. The ground game from Chase Hooper is one of the most immaculate things I've ever seen at 155. It's very, very beautiful. He's able to control a vet like Jim Miller on the ground as if it's nothing. The jiu-jitsu threat from him is absolutely ridiculous as well. You're watching a guy that's like almost perfect on the ground when it comes to grappling guys similar to his size. Like, he's just controlling everything, looking for a crotch ripper. He was looking for a bunch of shit, looking for a twister, was looking for arm bar, was looking for rear, anything. He was just looking for anything, any type of submission. Jim Miller, very defensively sound, very well aware of what was going on, but you know, he did still lose a round to Jim Miller, man. Remember that when you're watching Chase Hooper fight like later on in his career. It's a little bit of a worry. If anyone can shuck down those takedowns and just rock him and keep him on his ass and maybe force him to stand back up, I think you're going to see a Chase Hooper get torched realistically, because if Jim Miller can show the holes in his game, I don't know how far he's going to make it at 155, but again, the grappling is absolutely immaculate. He needs to work a little bit on the striking. He has improved on the striking. It did look really good. It's just you need a little bit more. Next on the prelims, Verna Jandiroba versus Yan Xiaonan. Now, this was one of the pick flips I had. I flipped from Yan Xiaonan to Verna Jandiroba. It just felt like the wrestling of Yan Xiaonan has been exposed. The ground game has been exposed. She has a lot of holes. She doesn't get submitted very often. I think maybe once inside of her career. But the problems do come in from the form of not being able to get back up, not being able to post a hip, not being able to get to the cage and leverage anything and trying to get herself back up. She just kind of focuses more on stopping the submission threats and not a whole lot on getting back up. You need to get back up if you want to win the round, and Yan just doesn't do that. She just kind of feels comfortable with sitting and just not being able to survive the round. And that's really not enough when you're fighting girls like Verna Jandiroba, who's just going to continuously look for those submissions. Realistically, I bet Verna Jandiroba and Yan Xiaonan to go over 2.5 rounds. I shouldn't have won that bet. Jandiroba inside round 1, 2, and 3 armbar in every single round and almost got Yan out of there. Almost. She did lose the grip on like 2 or 3 of them, and then the other 2 were stopped by the bell, man. It's a little bit sketchy. Like, Yan Xiaonan is getting close to the point where she might get caught in these submissions. She's kind of getting real careless on the ground and not being able to get back up. She needs to work on that a lot. I would focus purely on the wrestling. She has the striking down. Stop working on the striking at Team Alpha Male, dude. Holy shit. Just get guys working consistently on that. on those drills. Like, Jesus, it was a little bit rough to watch. Verna Jandaroba looks solid. She's gonna be an absolute monster at 115, dude. At strawweight, she realistically is gonna be the champion soon. So take a look out for her, man. I don't know who's the strawweight champion now. Oh wait, Zhang Wei Li. Oh my God, it's gonna be a fucking crazy fight. Yeah, it's gonna be a nutty fight. Next on the prelims, we had Dan 50K Ige versus Sean Woodson. This is the top of the prelims. Yeah, Dan won by KO round 3. I did call that in the best bets, and I think in the video, if you guys did watch that, I said Woodson was going to gas out inside the later rounds, just too big. A lot of dispersed weight for the weight class, especially at 6'2", man. And Dan, in my opinion, it was 1-1 going into round 3. Woodson looked like he was falling off a little bit. Woodson got cracked really, really good. Did go for a takedown attempt against Dan Ige, just 8 hammer fists, very similar to Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska, where the elbows came down. Sean Woodson, on the other hand, was getting back up. It is a kind of a bad stoppage, but when you eat like 15 shots in a row, how much more can you really take, and how much is the ref gonna let go? Like, because if you sit there and then you fall over and you're out cold, like, the ref didn't do his job, right? He's supposed to protect you, and when you're not protecting yourself and you're just eating shots and you're just trying to force a takedown that's not working and you're literally not moving and you might be out cold, I don't know. I like the stoppage by the ref. Andrew Glenn doesn't really deserve a lot of backlash for that. People were hating on him a lot, but I think Dan 50K Ige did get it done. I think he was going to get it done regardless. That third round was very clearly Dan. And we win another fucking lock of the week. That was 3 out of 3. We had Nora Cornell, Marco Tullio, and then we had Dan Ige. We have the next one coming up soon. But again, Sean Woodson is very good. He does use his range very well. It's just Dan Ige is just, he figures it out way too quick inside fights. He lands big blows, and when he rocks guys, he doesn't let them back down. He does finish them. He does force it. So just always remember that when you're betting Dan Ige, especially because of the fact that he only loses to top-tier contenders. And we're going to start off the main card now. Dominic Reyes versus Nikita Krylov. Krylov eats his first KO loss of his career. He does go out cold on the way down, absolutely slumped, and Reyes... What a knockout. What a knockout for Dominic Reyes, the Devastator. In under half a round, torches Nikita Krylov, who's actually a big fucking problem at 205. A huge problem. That's a big win for Dominic. Gets back in title contention, gets back in the conversation. What a win, man. Especially against Nikita Krylov, a guy who's a first-round finisher, like, just fucking wrecks everyone. And Dominic, to put him out like that, Dominic Reyes is truly back. He also ate a couple good shots, too, from Krylov. I think his chin's back, too. I'm very, very happy to see that Dominic Reyes is happy inside the octagon, too. He looks very locked in. Looks like he enjoys himself in there. And looks like he's back to war. It looks like Dominic Reyes really, truly is going to be there for the next long while at 205, man. It looks like he's solid at this point. It looks like everything about him is coming together. And when he's fighting Nikita Krylov was just kind of blitzing in. And Dominic was taking his time, looking very calculated, and just trying to find the precision shots. And gets it done. Fantastic win. Next on the main card, Jean Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. Bryce was getting chewed up inside that first round. Had a rough first round. Goes into the second round trying to force a takedown because he's getting beat up with the leg kicks and everything. Yeah, none of that happened. And then we get to the ground. Bryce almost gets caught in a guillotine. No, we get back up, and then Jean Silva just catches a Darce or ninja choke, whatever it was, and forces Bryce to tap. Bryce does tap a little bit too late, goes out cold on his back, wide open. Jean Silva thinks it's a good thing to bark over him. Nice. Very good win for Jean Silva. Didn't think a submission was going to go down. We did bet a KO, obviously. I don't think anyone had submission on this guy. What, like 1%? What's the 1%? Hold on. 0.7% by submission. Yeah, okay. Sure, bud. Anyway, very good win for John Silva. I should have bet, inside distance just in case. But it is what it is. Bryce Mitchell, man, he's so good with the grappling, but fuck. You got to be able to set it up, bro. If you can't set it up, especially against guys like John Silva, Ilya Tupor is lucky. Silva. Excuse me. Tupor is lucky he went away, bro, because Silva is a problem. This dude's going to be champ at 145. If he fights Volkanovski right now, he'd knock him out. He's a fucking real problem. Look out for John Silva to be a champ by the end of the year, man, because he's really on a roll. Next on the main card, Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. Now, Pitbull was coming from Bellator. We did talk about how we liked Yair Rodriguez on this fight. Specifically, stuttering a little bit. Specifically because of the fact that Pitbull losing in Rizin and stuff like that by knockout, losing in Bellator, to guys who are absolutely horrendous. Yair's one of those guys that is able to adapt. The only problem I had with him is that he hasn't really had any real good wins on his record, except for the shoulder injury against Brian Ortega. He did drop Ortega too, but like, he was able to get a triangle choke over Josh Emmett. You know what I mean? Like Jeremy Stevens, Chang Sung Jung at the last second, even though Chang Sung Jung was winning that fight. I don't know, man. Some of these are a little bit sketchy, and it worried me a little bit going into this fight, especially because Patricio Pitbull's a vet. He's been around the game a long time. He does have the ability to, figure it out when he's in there, but he did look a little bit starstruck tonight. He did look like he didn't know what to do. He did look like he didn't know how to deal with the size advantage of Yair Rodriguez. Rodriguez looked absolutely ripped tonight. He looked absolutely insane, looked fucking bigger than I've ever seen him before. His leg kicks were nasty. His front kicks were nasty. His spinning shit was nasty. The jumping switch kick was nasty. This dude was throwing heat, and Pitbull got cracked a couple of times. Pitbull at one point did land a really good left hand, I think in the second or third round, but Yair ate it, didn't give a shit, kept walking forward, like, okay. Whatever. He did have 7 inches of reach, so, it is what it is. You're going to have Pitbull on the end of that range. And Pitbull really should have just closed the distance because he was landing good strikes on Yair whenever he decided to throw, and he didn't really decide to throw at all. He kind of stayed at a kicking range, allowed Yair Rodriguez to get off on the first round and get ahead, and then Pitbull was down 2 rounds. He didn't really have a whole lot going for him anyway, and, it turned into Jesus Christ. I guess when it turns late, bro, I just start stuttering like a motherfucker. It's 2 a.m. It just turned into what it was. Like, it was unfortunate to see for Pitbull, but we did know Yair Rodriguez was most likely going to win the decision and be able to take Pitbull out of there, especially as a newcomer to the octagon, man. You need a fight or two to adapt, I guess. It's a different level of fanfare, you know what I mean? Like, people are screaming consistently. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett next on the on the main card. We had the co-main event of the evening. We're just going to re-say that because I don't know what's going on right now, but I sound like a broken record. Next on the main card, we had the co-main event of the evening. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Iron Michael Chandler. Chandler had no fucking chance. Literally no chance. Pimblett looked so good. I didn't even know Pimblett could look that good. And he won by knockout. Of all things, fucking knockout. God damn it. He was so close to submissions, too. Chandler's just so defensively sound when it comes to those chokes. Dustin was able to get a rear naked choke, which is fucking horseshit. Because Paddy, of all people, should be able to get a choke. Of course I bet submission. Of course I lost. Pathetic. Anyway, very good win for Paddy, though. He was massively oversized against Chandler. Was abusing Chandler that whole fight. Opened him up inside that third round with a really good strike. Chandler just kind of fell apart. I was pissing blood a lot. And Paddy just ended it with a really good ground and pound. Chandler couldn't move. He was in mount. It was over. There's no positives to say about Michael Chandler from this fight. He just absolutely ate shit the whole time. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett looked like one of the best people at 155. He did do it against Michael Chandler, though. Like, I mean, come on, bro. Give Paddy a real fucking fight, dude. Like, holy shit. We're getting some absolute bums to Paddy. Maybe Dustin Poirier next, or I guess there isn't really a whole lot at 155, right? Like at 155, what do you have? You have Islam, Gaethje, Poirier, Fiziev. Maybe give him a Fiziev. I don't mind that. Paddy versus Fiziev for number 7. Yeah, I like that shit. If you guys haven't already, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I do these every single week. We did cash the best bets too that I do on every Thursday. We've cashed for like the last 4 weeks in a row. Dude, it's free. Just come check it in every Thursday. Drop a like. It helps me out. Get it in the algorithm, and then maybe we can have like 100 people every fight night. This past one actually was pretty good. Next on the main card, we had the final event of the evening. Alexander Volkanovski, the main event, versus Diego Lopes. And I did say my heart said Volk. My brain said Diego. Yeah, well, I should have went with my fucking heart. I never go with my heart. I always go with my heart. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to myself. I'm going to pick Diego Lopes. I mean, I did pick Volkanovski by decision, but I bet Diego. And, of course, he lost. Like, of course, it was very clear 4-1 for Volkanovski. A very, very good performance for Alexander Volkanovski. Gets dropped twice, once in the second round, once in the fourth round. Does look like the Alexander of old. Does look like the time off did do absolute fucking wonders for his chin. He looked very, very solid. Diego was as dangerous as always. Wasn't throwing as much as he should have early in the fight, but still, regardless of the outcome, he did throw, he did land, and Volkanovski did survive. He did survive. He clearly outmatched Diego go every single place except for the ground. We never went to the ground at all. Volkanovski looked fucking fantastic. Honestly, he looked awesome. I don't know if Volk has had a better performance than this since the Yair Rodriguez knockout or that Max Holloway win, but Jesus, dude, what a win for Volkanovski. An absolute astounding to watch. It did win fight of the night. Volkanovski gets his belt back, becomes the first champion in the lower weight classes above 36 years of age to win his title back. Let's go. Volkanovski is now the GOAT, in my opinion, at 155 or 145. There is no doubt about it. Maybe Ilya Topuria, but, you know, we don't have to worry about that anymore because he's gone. He didn't cement his legacy. He chose to leave and not clean up the division. It is what it is, bro. You could have fought Diego Lopes instead. You're fighting fucking Islam and probably going to get choked out. It is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. This was the recap and breakdown. I'll make sure to put out the edit either tomorrow or on Monday for you guys for this past weekend. It was absolutely insane. I had a lot of good reactions from the stream, so I'm hoping it's going to be a good video. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Again, I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.